JayPing checking in, man. Respect my region. Morning joint episode number 90 in the building. I'm your host, Joey JayPing. I'm actually fucking up right now this first episode, but the good thing is my fuck up is going to be saved by a very special guest today, you guys. This is a very special episode number 90. I cannot wait to bring on my guy Chad, Drew, Twisted Foot, Lighter Charms, Vape Charms on. We're going to talk cannabis today. We're going to talk Colorado. And also, we're going to talk a little bit about the Super Bowl because that just happened last night. We had a talk a couple weeks ago. I know you a sports fan. I know you got your teams. You already know I got my team. I already know about your team. But today, it's not about our teams. It's about our companies. It's about a couple other teams that have worked really hard to get to where they were. One came out on top yesterday. It was a very exciting game. We had an overtime game yesterday. Chad, talk to me. Before we get started on the football stuff, before we dive into T Swizzle and the Hizzle and Travis
Oh my
Kelce
God.
and all the drama surrounding all that stuff, people need to know who you are, what you do, where you're at.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you letting me come and hang. It's been nice to watch your brand growing and going, man. You guys are crushing the game, and we respect all that Respect My Region does, man. I'm
That's
Chad. I'm
love.
from Denver, man. I've been in the legal game since 2009 out here when it was 5 years before adult use, medical only. I
Let's
came from the
go.
military, veteran, Air Force, went to Arizona State University. Did radio, came from radio, did a lot of different swag and merch and concerts and parties and all that fun stuff. So,
Man.
um, yeah, man, super cool. Happy to be in the industry, man. But did retail for the first decade. I was in the industry up until 2018. I stepped away from managing a chain in order to do the entrepreneur thing. Um, and so we're just trying to represent the entrepreneurs within the industry. We're an ancillary brand that's cannabis touching, and having played in that game and having played in the marijuana industry since many decades ago. It's nice to be able to have a seat at the table, as one of my friends, Chris Dreesen, mentions. It's nice to have a seat at the table and play in the industry and watch it evolve and have an impact. So I hope that
Yeah, bro,
helps. How'd I do?
You did great. You sound like you've done this before. You're a pro, but it's probably easy when you've done so much. I've met people that haven't done much with their life, that don't do cool stuff. They work a regular job, they go home, they're by themselves or their fam or whatever it is that people do that don't have goals and missions and shit beyond just the regular world. And it sounds
Sure.
to me like you've been living a very cool life. And so first off, big respect to you and your decision to get into the military. We appreciate your service for sure. I
Yes.
appreciate your service. And
Yes.
also too, to dive headfirst into cannabis. 15 years you've been in the industry.
That's right.
15 years you have
Yeah.
been in
Yeah.
cannabis. You've been, I'm sure you've smoked and done cannabis in numerous places in your travels. I'm sure you've been there doing all the crazy Colorado activities since Colorado's cannabis has been around recreationally the longest in the United
Sure.
States. I'd love for you to talk a little bit about how you got, what was that day like where you're like, man, I'm going to get into cannabis. And then what was that feeling like when you went to work for the first time?
It was really crazy. My story of getting into cannabis is a really different one. I actually came back to finish up my degree from Arizona State here back in my hometown because I had heard from out there that it was just starting to take off. And so
Mm-hmm.
I had been gone for like almost a decade and a half at that point, maybe 2 decades. I had been gone from Colorado, and I heard this was going on, and I had the opportunity to finish up my degree with an internship. I already knew I was going to do radio because I had done radio in California. I was just kind of like
Yep.
finishing out my bachelor's, and I couldn't get an internship in the Arizona market, which was a blessing in disguise. Like I tried in all of the different radio stations that were out there. I was really hounding Holmberg and Holmberg's Morning Sickness out in Arizona to try to be part of their gig, and then I put a shout out to one of my buddies back here. Found out that there was an internship available to come back home, and it was super exciting because at that point, cannabis was just barely. I mean, it had been around for a little bit, but it was starting to grow a voice. which was really cool. It was just the beginning of it. It was still very taboo, like, and the way that I got into it is this radio internship that I had was not paying. So I got a intern, or I had to get a part-time job. I got a part-time job at a car lot. And I was like actually just kind of helping out around the car lot. And this dude rolled up and he was cool and there wasn't any other salesmen around. So I figured I'd take it upon myself to sell this dude. Only dude I had ever talked to on the car lot. Sold him a car real quick, and during the test drive, he was like, "So what do you do?" Blah blah blah. And so he like paid for me to come over to his dispensary. He ended up being a dispensary owner, and he paid for me to come over and get my medical card at the time. And so
Wow.
I checked it out, and I like shopped there for a second, and then he came back to me like a week later, and he was like, give me your feedback. And I'm like, I could crush that shit way more than what you're doing. He had all these kids that didn't know what they were doing and everything like that. And it was so new that you were, at that time, you were just grasping on who would play that game. And I had been a dealer prior too. So it's like, if I could do this legal, like I wasn't like a big time dealer. I just took care of my friends and made it so my weed was free. You know what I mean? One of those low size dealers.
My favorite people in cannabis and my least favorite people in cannabis are both dealer, like they're legacy dealers and people that got into it, right? Because oftentimes that experience, the stuff that the way it was, the way it used to be, even the conversations you had when you were selling to those people, you know what I mean? Often
Right.
that times that was the first like aha moments for so many correlating factors. An example,
True.
oh, I smoked this strain you bought me. Oh, thank you, Chad. It's good to see you again. Appreciate you. I'm so, oh yeah, you want to come inside? Okay, cool. We sit down, you pull out your shit. Those first moments where people are telling you how they felt, how it made
Mm-hmm.
them feel, what it
Mm-hmm.
did, how it helped them, we
Yeah.
never forget those first ones, right? We
Never
never
do.
forget those first ones.
Never
It
do.
lays the foundation for what we think cannabis can do, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
It.
then and so that's why it's my favorite because of that, right? That's the heart.
Yep.
That's why we're in it, right? Is somebody
Yep.
really feeling some kind of way because of that, right?
Yep.
But
I
then,
feel
but
that.
then we get into cannabis, right? You get into those businesses, right? Just like you were saying. And what did you say about those young kids? They don't know what's going on, right?
Yeah. Totally.
So then you get in there and you bring your professional experience in, right? From not cannabis,
Yeah.
and that all of
Yep.
a sudden booms his business, right? And so
Yep.
I love my least favorite group is all those legacy dealers who end up doing buying, who end up running a
Yeah.
dispensary, hiring all their friends because that's who they worked with, right? When they were dealing.
Yeah. There and that this industry is so big and so vast, and it's touched so many different aspects of the real world, what people would consider the real world. The ancillary companies, like every industry outside of cannabis, wants to have a finger in cannabis. Whether you're schools and benefiting from it, whether you're a legal team, whether you're plumbing, whether you're a trade of this, that, or that, everybody wants to have a little bit of cannabis because there is consumers all over in all the other industries, and everybody knows that the potential of the money making and becoming one of the top gross national products of the world, really, in a lot of ways. Like, everybody knows the benefits of the money, and the lessons that I
Well, we're
learned back
hearing
in the
about that, right? We're hearing about the benefits of the money on media, right? Because that's
yeah.
business scaring people and fucking negative news, right? So it's like those are the three things.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, money has always been, I don't know, like, money's always been a long problem. When I was in my first shop, the one I was describing, I had four big dudes meet me in a parking lot, drive me over to the dispensary, drop me and the weed and the money off. And then as soon as I got done and I was legal, I had cops driving all around, and they knew I had my little 1+ sign saying I could sell here. And as soon as I was done, four big dudes come, grab me, take me, go over to where my car's at. And it's not much different money wise these
That's
days,
all.
dude.
That's how it was in Colorado.
I mean, back in the day, that's how it was for sure. Yeah. You like,
Now I've got
especially.
questions. Now I've got questions. Oh
Well,
man.
go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Well, bro.
But
Well,
yeah,
I mean. Okay, so let's wrap this all into a one big picture for people here.
yeah.
Chad, what position are you with your company, Twisted Foot, Lighter Charms, Vape Charms? Are you the owner? You're the founder, co-founder? What are you?
Yeah, I'm one of the owners on the board, and I'm also the national director of sales.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
So ancillary. So can you
Hmm.
show them the little charm you have there on your lighter,
Yeah,
please?
yeah, yeah. So yeah, we have a couple of different charms. This is the lighter charm right here. We can customize it with different brands and stuff like that. But basically, this thing is made of borosilicate, so it can take over 700 degrees. So you can light a bowl and snuff it. Makes it so it doesn't keep burning. You can snuff a bong when you're pulling it. Makes it so that your bong doesn't keep burning stuff. You can snuff out a joint. You can snuff out a joint or a blunt on it. You can cap a small little dab rig, so if that little silicone part on your Puffco pops off, you can actually kind of use it. This guy also pops off. It's a little magnet. So this is the lighter charm. We have 6 patents, and this is our first one. This is our newest one. We just released a color pack for colors here.
I like the
So
colors. I also want to
yeah.
touch on one of the key ergonomic features of that device,
Mm-hmm.
specifically of the vape charm. If you wouldn't mind grabbing that one again.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
One
So
of
I
my
have a few
favorite
of
one
them.
of my favorite things about your vape charm is that it solves 2 problems for me. The first problem is that it can no longer roll off of a desk. It can no
Yep.
longer roll off of something. It's also magnetic. Actually, it solves 3 problems now that I think of it. So the first problem is that it doesn't roll. That's the thing that it solves, right? I
Mm-hmm.
really enjoyed that. The second thing
Yeah.
that I noticed immediately when we were first introduced and you showed me this item was that it actually allows it to sit like this. You do want your oil to be at an angle, whether it's 100% vertical or even just tilted. You want your vape cartridge always be uh, sitting up in a direction that's proper, that allows gravity to take the oil down to the bottom of the holes. And
Truth.
so
Yep.
that's the second problem, is that part is incredibly important. Now the second, that's A, and then B for that part is that the mouthpiece is also not on the table. When you think about COVID, you think about bacteria, you think about germs. You're
Truth.
putting a vape right in your mouth. You're
Right.
not sticking it in your armpit. You're not sticking it in your ears, up your butt, around the tube, through your boob. You're literally sucking on it. And
Right.
so, if when it's sitting like this, the vape cannot, the mouthpiece isn't touching the ground, right? It's not touching
Truth.
the surface. And so,
Yep.
even if that falls, there's a chance that it's going to land still sideways, and the mouth is still not going to be touching whatever surface is on. And so,
Truth.
I
Yep.
really enjoy that part as well. The third feature is that magnetic ability allows you to put your vapes on your fridge,
Mm-hmm.
on maybe a part of your car, maybe on just another surface. And that allows you to, again, store it upright and vertical the way that it should be. So that way the
Truth.
oil
And
is.
we have these little mount guys
Yep.
too that are like sticky back ones, so you can kind of make any surface magnetic. So then you can kind of hang that too. So
Oh,
like I
that's
said,
genius.
yeah. So we some of the vendors that we do these, some of the clients that we've worked with do offer out the mounts and stuff. Sometimes they don't, but we can't. We do on our website if you ever want to buy one or whatnot. But yeah, they help it so that like my wife has one mount on the back of the headboard. So if she wakes up in the middle of the night, her indica vape pen is right there. She doesn't have to get out of bed. She can just hit it, kind of get a little indica, and then go back to bed, dude. You know what I mean? But it also like keeps it stored away so the kids and the pets and stuff don't even know that it's hanging there. You know what I
100%.
mean?
100%.
So yeah, man, they're cool. I like them. I'm one of the beneficial ones because since it's my company, I have a whole bunch of them. So regardless of what pen I have around, I know which one is marked with that one. And
Oh, I
it's
didn't think
really
about that one. You're
beneficial.
also able to
Yeah,
color. Yeah, you can organize your medicines and or your recreational consumption experience, right? This
totally.
color on this strain, this color on this ratio, right? Or this sleep one, right?
Right. And for the brands, like we just dropped these ones for a brand called Native Roots out here in Colorado. There's a
Oh
we can
yeah.
put a QR code on it, so that's always beneficial for the brands as well. But
No,
I think
that's
if
super cool because then you can pair content with the strain, right? You could sell strain specific versions of this, sell it with the vape. They're able to, take that along with any of the other ones. And not only that, brands, just from a marketing perspective, I'm smoking, now I'm getting creative. This is the danger of cannabis for me. Bro, it's really cool because you can actually do loyalty campaigns through that. You can communicate messages through that. You can communicate contests through that. Any article, landing page, YouTube video, Instagram thing can be put there. You can even put a link tree to like 5 different things like that. And so
Yeah.
it's really valuable for a communication tool. And for brands, you guys got to really consider, we'll call it diversifying your communication channels. This does give you a whole nother channel. It's unique. You guys heard it. He's got multiple patents on these things. You guys are killing it, man. This is super
We
cool.
do. We got 6 of them now, dude. It's crazy. And we got 2 more pending. We have more designs. Like we just dropped this one for Eureka. I don't know if you've seen this one or not, but this is for
Turn
the
any bar
for
into
the
a double ripper?
yeah. So
Wow.
guys as well. It makes it so that you can do flavor changing. So because there's the 2 holes, if you can see, so you can kind of flavor change. There's been some people like I've been able to put it into a bong and hit it just like some of that, like the dab cap. We've
I
been able to
see
hit it
some
like
more
that.
patents
But
coming.
yeah, man,
That's sick, dude.
we got the bigger ones now for the 2-gram cartridges, so that's pretty cool. So
Yes.
we have a ton
Yes.
of things going on. We got the lighter charm for the clipper too. So we're working on a bunch of things. We have a lot of really cool clients across the nation. I'm fortunate because going back to the ancillary thing, like my products are non-medicated. Like I came from medicated to non-medicated. There's a lot of reasons that I got into this industry, not only because I did a lot of swag with radio, but having been elbows deep for a decade in metric, and I mean, I was there before we even had to have a badge in Colorado. You know what I mean? Like from not having to have a badge to full government regulation. Like I went through that whole thing in the front lines. And so like I wanted to get out, but still play in the game. And without having to be non-medicated, like non-medicated products, I can work in 18 markets. Like I can work in Canada and Puerto Rico too, like we are. We're working in all that. And it's fun to be able to kind of play with the MSOs and like not have to be an MSO. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like I don't need the
100%.
whole pie. I
Well, you're
can
not just
have just
selling a
like a
product, right? You're selling a white label collaboration product as well, right? Like it's like
yeah,
you were saying, it is a CPG. Don't get me wrong. Like you sell to customers. You're at events. You can slang them, right?
no doubt. Yep.
X amount of dollars for Y amount of units in a box.
Yeah.
But the fact that you guys also can do printing and custom, that right there turns you guys from a product into a tool, into a marketing
Yeah.
resource. And that right there, that differentiation factor for me, that's something that I see a lot of value in. And so big shout out to you guys. Before
Thanks,
we
man.
get to the next question though, I got to do something that I totally forgot. I
Appreciate you.
was so hyped at the beginning that I forgot to do our sponsor statement. So
What's up, sponsors?
the reason I forgot is because I am smoking the product, of course. RMR's Legacy Smalls indoor cannabis flower available in Washington, California. We've got Arizona and New York coming on next. And we've got some really other exciting news for 2 other states coming as well. But for now, super lemon cherry, 4% terps. So good, it'll make you forget to shout out your own products.
Dude,
Now,
you guys been crushing. That brand's been crushing. You guys have been crushing, dude. It's nice to see you. Nice to see you popping into all these fun markets, dude.
it's
So, and you
it's
have to have a
it's
quality
opened up
product
avenues
too.
just like you guys, man. It's been a different way to create relationships. Obviously, it's helping fund things a little bit more. We're still looking for retail partners. Please reach out. You know what I'm saying? So is
Yeah, yeah.
Chad. Reach out to him. You know what I'm saying? Any retail partner, hey, any of my retail partners, you guys should be working with Chad to make products, to get marketing out. Let's just cut the shit. All right? It's
I,
valuable.
I appreciate
So
it, dude. I think a lot of brands these days are stuck in the apparel, and everybody's trying to look for their own thing. Like, everybody's trying to do their apparel and their own fashion line along with cannabis, but everybody's been
everybody in
doing
Cali
lane.
wants a BOGO. Everybody in
Right?
Cali wants a BOGO. So Lighter Charms is a really affordable way to give them that BOGO, California brands.
It's true. You walk
Come on.
every consumer has their own lighter. You walk in, it's the same thing as having one of those little key markers at the grocery store. It's like, hey,
Now
dude,
they're
that's my
literally,
thing right there.
what's the one? Okay, so let me ask this question. Do you smoke joints or blunts?
I usually do joints. I'm always down for a blunt, but
What do you carry?
I usually have my own homegrown joints.
Okay, so that's my point. You're not walking around with blunts, right? But what do you need to spark what you're gonna smoke? What do you need? A lighter. So already you can speak marketers, brands, cannabis brands, retailers, all y'all. You guys can sit there and you guys can make products that speak to a smaller market, or you can speak to the one. Stoners may not always have a lighter, but for the ones that do, they always got it. And then they're going to hand it to somebody else. They're going to touch two people or more when they smoke with someone else. If you can get a lighter charm in their pocket, they're going to think about your dispensary all the time. They're going to
Well,
think
and
they're
on
going to
top of
literally.
it, whenever you're smoking by yourself, you want to snuff it out and keep as much of it, especially with those good blunts, those ones you're throwing $50, down for. Even like anything that's infused, like a little infused ones that you're just trying to savor and stuff like that. Being able to blunt it out, you know what I mean, and make it so you can enjoy it another time, dude. You know what I mean, is always a fun thing.
Like,
So.
I don't snuff out any joints. I smoke them all. So I don't. Again, like
I
for
do. I
me,
smoke them all the way most of the times, but if I'm doing my own personal, I'll keep my own little one along the way, dude. You know what I mean? And it
I
makes it so.
your journey is your journey. I was the way and for people that have been around me a long time, and I hope Mitch is watching this, but my homies from the original Leany crew in Ellensburg, Washington, they always said this: "There's always more. There's always going to be more." You know.
Yeah, man, it's
So
true.
I smoke
To the
them
home,
down. We burn it
to the
down,
homie,
and for that,
to the
for
homie.
that, I
Yeah.
think it's time. Let's take a little big respect. Now I want to transition over a little bit to Colorado.
Let's do it.
You worked in the market. You've been a part of it early. I see
Hmm.
you're working with Native Roots. That's arguably the biggest, longest running big brand there,
One of
right?
them. Yep, yep, for sure. It's one of the
Them and the Green
OGs. Yep.
Solution and a couple other
Hmm.
brands, right?
Hmm.
Um, when you go into these dispensaries, you think about native roots, the Green Solution again. Diego Pellicer used to be out there. There's I think what is it like there's a bunch of great stores. I'm forgetting the one that I
Cookies is here now. Yeah, dude. We've got a lot. There's some OGs like
when people come there and they fly there. Where are the three dispensaries they should hit? Top three, and why?
So if you're gonna go into the hills, which a lot of people come here for skiing, if you're gonna go to the hills, check out any of the Agatis, IGADI. They all have a pretty cool setup. Some of them you can check out the plants that are growing. Like they're always doing pretty good. They're a really good one. IGADI, Agati is the name of them out there. One of my favorite ones. Let's see. One of my favorite ones in town is Kind Love for sure. Kind Love has always been super cool. They're they tried to expand out to Oklahoma, so there was going to be a multi location, multi state, but for one reason or another, it fell apart in ways. But the one in Oklahoma still has the name Kind Love, but they're super cool. They have like a nice shop, cool location, usually some pretty dank bud. They're a fun one, and I would say one of my favorite ones to take people to is a one called Lit, which it could be switched at any time, but hopefully for right now, Lit is the name for a while. And it's right off Federal, right behind the Bronco Stadium. So when you walk in, you see the whole. It's like the Bronco Stadium's like right in front of you, and then you can see the whole downtown. So you
That's
kind of
dope.
get to see, yeah, you kind of get to see the city like bam. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like a real good location.
Just want to flex real quick about how much I care about the Broncos.
I can see. I can see right there. I can see.
Come on, baby, Raiders! It's the end of the year. I know the Super Bowl just ended. We'll talk about that here in a moment, but I just want to take a time to flex real quick on the Broncos.
Right on, man. I got
Okay,
respect for your squad.
no,
I got respect for your squad.
we don't want it.
I'm at Gruden. I'm at Gruden. I got respect for Josh Jacobs, dude. I'm sorry
Love.
you guys had to go
Why
through
you got to
fucking
be
the.
such a friendly NFL fan? Why can't I just over here and be a spicy Raiders fan and just
I mean,
chill?
I mean, I don't feel like talking too much shit. I usually talk shit to my Raiders fans behind the scenes because they get real
Oh.
testy. They get real testy face to face. They're like, you know what I mean? But I will
that was
say,
a good
dude,
one.
I got my all black Bronco hat because
Yeah, I
I'm in
see you.
mourning.
I see you. I see
I'm in
you.
mourning, dog. I'm in mourning, dude. My team got to figure some shit out.
Us
You
too.
know what
Us
I
too.
mean?
We're working through it. We're working through it. Now, okay, so Colorado, the market out there is really interesting, right? You guys have major sports teams. Your guys' basketball team just won the NBA Finals last year, world champions. Your Broncos, historically one of the best franchises in the league. You guys have Cannabis for a long time. It's been an exciting market just to watch from afar, knowing that the regulations had to catch up from an event standpoint and the
Right.
lounge standpoint, and
Right.
also too. I don't know anybody from Colorado that says that, oh my God, we definitely have the best flower in the world, right? And so it's like everyone's aware of the various, like, what is it, the altitude, the air, the climate, and just the difficulty of that because you can't control how retailers have their store set up and how they store your product, right? And so ultimately, there in Colorado, that particular element in the full ecosystem of seed through sale is the most volatile part compared to any other state, probably with the exception of maybe Alaska, right? Who knows?
Yep.
Never been up there,
Yep.
don't hear much about it. Big shout out to Alaska, though. They got recreational legal cannabis up there. Their market is doing their thing. But no one really,
Yeah.
I haven't
Yep.
been up there ever. No one I've talked to has been up there. They're just up there, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
so with
Fighting the
that said,
fight.
again, to reiterate, that particular element, the retail product part of it, the one when it gets to retail or it's already at retail, and then the consumer, it's that's volatile more so than anywhere else. So for you, you've been smoking a lot of weed out there for a long time. You've been dabbing, you've been eating edibles, you've been drinking weed, you've been probably using topicals. What are, in your opinion, the most trusted cannabis companies or brands that are out there? 5 of them, 3 of them. First
It's
ones that
hard.
come to mind.
That's hard because like we're an OG market. So if you've made it this far, you know our brands, dude. Like you
That's
know what I
okay.
mean?
What are those? The people got
So
to know. Put on for
I
Colorado,
mean,
dog.
so this is definitely one of them.
Wana.
Homegrown. Homegrown, dude. Like Boulder found female ran company. Nancy is a stud. She's
Bar
someone that
none.
everybody
Nancy
should
sets the
far.
bar.
That she's yeah, like and her whole team from, you know, Mike to, you know, all the way down, dude. Like they surround themselves with the good people. They've always had a solid team, but more importantly, their product has always been consistent. I probably sold $1 million of Wana products, dude, in my retail time, dude. Just because as soon as they came out, I brought them onto our shelves, dude, and like they were the most consistent, always, regardless of the product that they went through. You always knew you smoke you eat a Wana, you're gonna know exactly where that's at, dude. So
Big shout out to Wana, man.
yeah, dude, big love. Um, Let me think, dude. Like we have, you know, the clear came out of here. The clear is a big one. I don't know if you guys can see the clear.
Yep, I'm familiar. We've
Yeah,
interviewed the Clear a few times. Big shout out to their fam.
yeah. They're kind of
That's
some of
family
the
owned and operated too.
yep, yep. Rich and Rick are both super cool. Their whole team is pretty solid. I definitely appreciate all that they're doing in the whole in the whole scheme of things. Because I don't know, you know, if you know everything that Rick and Rich have their hands in, but they fight a lot for us. They're generals in the front lines of the fight in the green fight. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So
they're advocating a lot.
yeah, they do a lot. Yep, they have a whole team that advocates a lot, dude. Like some of their team travels all around to be able to, you know, help lobby and push the normalization. Man, that's the biggest thing. Like
I did not
that's
know
what
that. We're definitely going to have to ask them about that the next time we link up. We usually do interviews with them at MJ Biz, but I don't. I think I did. I think I did at this last one, but I don't. We didn't talk about that, so that's super interesting. Big
they're
shout out
super
to
cool.
those guys.
They're about to come out on their reality show. Did you know that? Their reality show is just about to they have a reality show that's about to drop. I want to say it's in the spring or maybe the summer,
Wow,
but check it out. I can't remember what it is, but Rick and Rich Battenberg are going to be it's going to
sick,
be
dude.
some reality show. So Yeah, man, that's another OG brand. Like Incredibles started out of here.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not the
yeah.
team. It's not the team as it was, but the original, the OGs like Josh, Bob, like Rick, all you know what I mean. Like Derek, dude, the OGs of the Incredibles definitely set a tone, out here as well. So that's another big brand. I always have love for Colorado Harvest Company.
Di-
That's
Hey,
my
didn't
brand that I
710
help.
Labs come out of there?
Yeah, 710 Labs. 710 Labs is definitely a solid one. So I really enjoy Harmony as well. Green Dot. Green Dot's a really, really good one. You gotta have, any of them. So Harmony and Green Dot have always known what they're doing. 710 Labs blew up real quick, man. Now they're everywhere too, you know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
mean, that's the thing
They
about
got
this market. Like
they're on the right now. You think about brands in the country, right? And and I know people are going to hate on this because they all hate on cookies so much, but every single person I know that hates on cookies hasn't been to multiple places and smoked it in multiple places.
yeah.
Like
Yeah, but I think when it comes
cookies is
to
up there.
to putting your net far and having the right set of standards, cookies is definitely by far one of the tops. Their branding is like just taking them
Cookies,
to a whole
Jungle
different level. You know what I
Boys,
mean? Yeah,
710 Labs,
yeah.
in the country, Wana, Wild,
Wild, yep. Wild. We
Jeter.
work with Wild. Yep. We just dropped some Jeter charms as well. Like some of these brands that I'm finally getting a chance to really work with and dive deep in with. It's cool to see where they're going and how they're going and how we can kind of integrate and do some things. You know what I mean? Like there's definitely some plans. The evolution of the industry holding us back is one of the things that's affecting Colorado the most anyway, because we started way back here and put this blueprint together, and we've needed this step, but everybody's on board now. You know what I mean? And so we've been
Yeah,
waiting for this step for so long that so many people can't really hang on much longer. You know what I mean? But they are, because the ones that are hanging on have been to other markets. You know what I mean? Like what you
yeah.
guys are doing. So, but to be
It's
able
tough.
to
It's
get
tough,
to a
man. Your
point,
guys' state is very unique from the other markets, right? It's a vertical
it is.
integration market. Most of it
Yep.
was non-funded legacy people still,
Yep.
which
Yep.
is crazy. It's not a
Yep.
hyper invest in me market with brands from other countries and states trying to get in it. It's always just been Colorado's,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And I think
Yep.
that's something that makes it really unique. You've named a number of brands that are absolutely well known and popular. I want to give respect to Incredibles and the Clear and also the Green Dot. My boy Dominique Dabbs has nothing but good things to say about the Green Dot. I've heard numerous things. And then obviously, like I said, it's Wana and Wild and Cookies and Jungle Boys. And also, too, we can't forget one of the most popular and original athlete owned cannabis brand, which is Viola, right?
Right.
Also coming
Exactly.
out of Colorado. And
Yep.
so super
And there's
unique.
been a lot of really good brands that have been along the way as well. Like some of them that haven't gotten the notoriety, like Mountain High Suckers, who's in 3 or 4 states and has a really consistent hard candy, or like Didiri, who does some bubble joints and just finally got to their second market. There's a lot of the medium ones that not many people know about that you're going to hear about because they've hung on and they're doing their thing. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
you know having to fight against 280E for over a decade if you're a legal business, like that's really hard. Like we just hit our 10-year mark of being recreational. 10 years, bro. And if you remember early in the conversation about how I talked about how I had dudes that would come pick me up with cash and I would go over and I would sell and then I would go back. It's the same banking, bro. 15 years later, dude. It's the same fucking banking, dude. Like, these
Yeah.
guys don't have any access to cash and shit, dude. Like, and they're trying to play like they can't write off taxes and stuff like a barber or a fucking mechanic and shit. Like, legitimize this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I've been at this for
Yeah.
15 years and there's other companies that have been trying to go at it for so long as a brand, going through all the packaging changes and all the metric changes and all the regulations changes and stuff. And we've tried to revamp the Colorado market so many times over this time, And the only real thing that needs to happen is let us have a damn credit union. Like at one point, our mayor or our governor almost, Hickenlooper almost got us a credit union. At least give us something like that. Like there's loopholes and shit, but give us some tax breaks and stuff. And that's where we're at right now, bro. If you want me to preach, dog, you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
it's time. Like you guys, if it stays how it is, all these markets that are spending all of their money on branding and everything like that you can't write off, like can't write the shit off, dude. You're just well funded. But as soon as you can write that shit off, different story, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
it will. It'll even up the playing field just a little bit. It
sure,
won't be ever completely level because there's always going to be people better at finance that had better opportunities and that are greasing the wheels, and all that kind of stuff.
yeah,
We're always going to have that kind of situation happen, unfortunately. But super interesting. I appreciate you sharing your perspective
no
there
doubt,
on
bro.
Colorado and kind of catching us up on some of the trials and tribulations going on in real time. I mean, not to say that other states aren't familiar with some of those exact issues, but it literally is unique and different in each way. There is banking and or better access to banking in certain states and certain places, um, and I'm sure
In
that
some
in
ways,
these
but
yeah.
yeah,
Well,
everybody's
like I'm sure
figuring
like
their way
California
through it.
probably has like it's so big. There's got to be ones up north and down south, right? So it's like versus just
There's
like
ways to play the games, dude, but how
yeah,
much of a headache do you have to devote and how many resources do you have to devote to it when a fucking mechanic can kind of do his own taxes almost in a way? You know what I mean? Like,
right,
you know what I mean? Like,
right,
I don't
right, right.
know. I don't know. The
So
biggest problem. Yep, go ahead, man.
no, no, you're good. So with you guys and the lighter charms, the vape charms, and that whole world of creating custom products, I just want to circle back and make sure that we give the people the opportunity to get connected with you so they can understand that.
Yeah,
For
man.
anybody that's around the country, how can they get a hold of you? How can they connect? How do they get a like a catalog?
Sure. Yeah, no worries. My email address is chad@twistedfoot.com. Twisted Foot. That's two O's. This is our logo. This is how my the inventor and founder Rob, my partner, he got an accident, and so his feet ended up kind of that way at one point. And so if you ever meet him, he's got a pretty good scar down his shin. You can imagine. But yeah, so chad@twistedfoot.com. We're the ones that do all the charms. We did the lighter charms, vape charms, we got pod charms, we got a bunch of different charms that are coming through, and we're working
You got the double bar
double.
connector.
Yeah, the double barrel, dude. Whoop, whoop,
Yeah, the
whoop.
double barrel.
So yeah, for Eureka, we have other ones that are in the works. I can't talk about right now, but I'm sure you'll hear
Excited.
about more of. You know what I mean? So
All right. Now we got a couple minutes left. I want to touch on the Super Bowl yesterday. Did you watch it?
I totally did. Yep,
Nice. Start to finish?
I did. Yep, yep, yep.
Yep, same, same, same. What was we're just gonna skip ahead. We'll talk about what happened in the game, but I want to touch first on the halftime show. What were your thoughts? You're a former radio guy, you're a music guy. Talk to me.
I mean, it's Usher, dude. He put on a show. I like the simplicity of it. I like Snoop's I like Snoop's stage and it being a whole thing, but and like Usher's stage was super cool, but he had a lot of cool acts and stuff. So the simplicity of it was pretty dope. But like, I'm ready for Metallica. That's just me, you know.
You ready for a rock show at the Super Bowl?
I'm ready to get back to one. Just one. I like Usher, and I was actually surprised how many Usher songs from back in the day are back in the day. You know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
definitely cool to see Ludacris. I still don't know who the dude that looked like CeeLo was. I still haven't figured out who that dude was, but
Yeah, I had a feeling. I thought it was Dame Dash, but I don't. At the end of the day, I couldn't. I don't. I could be the goofball thinking, confusing it.
yeah,
I thought
he looked
what
like
I
CeeLo though. He did.
honest to God, what I asked myself as I watched Usher's performance was, I wanted to see if he could still sing, right? And there was bits and pieces in there where he was singing, and you could definitely tell he still has crazy range, and he's still Usher, right? But
Right.
with how much dancing he was doing and moving around, it was just very clear that he wasn't able to do both as much as he was able to do back in the day, probably, right? And that's
Sure.
normal.
Sure.
But I wished he had sung more instead of danced, and I feel like that's probably because he's been doing all these fun dancing Vegas shows for people and really getting into that. That was just like now was the chance to do the over the top version. but I just wish he would have sung
Sure.
more. I felt like I kept hearing him rely or seeing him rely on just the background vocals for the stadium versus the singing.
Agreed.
Versus
He
like,
got winded. He got winded.
or no, I mean, I don't think he got winded. I just think it was planned that way. I think that was the
Okay.
set, right? It's the Super Bowl, and
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
I just wished I would have heard him sing more because he has some really beautiful songs, right?
Right.
And he's got the bangers. And Ludacris was obviously fucking lit, and Lil Jon was fucking lit, and that was a
Yeah.
great throwback to me in fucking seventh grade, right?
Yeah.
So that was fucking sick.
Yeah, no,
Now,
I got respect for him. I got respect for it, for sure, no doubt.
now for the game, you're a football fan, yeah?
Fully,
All right, here we go. So, first quarter, we're watching the 49ers kind of dominate.
right?
Just literally dominate. They're running. McCaffrey's running all over the place. Purdy didn't even really have to throw the ball that much, but when he did, he was like 4 for 4 or 5 for 5 to start or something. It took a
Right.
whole quarter for the Chiefs to turn on.
It did. Yep.
I,
I think that was in the plan though.
they
I think
are
they just
slow. They have. I
yeah.
mean, the numbers would say right that they always they come back a lot after 10 points, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I feel like they were feeling him out and I feel like Shanahan was trying to show his cards without showing his cards as much as he could, you
They
know?
were balling. I
He,
like McCaffrey. I like McCaffrey on the Panthers. I like seeing. I don't. As a Raiders fan, I really don't care and pay attention to that many other teams. I try to just enjoy football and being passionate about the Raiders and talk a little bit of shit to people that are friends, you know. But
right,
like,
right, right.
not too excessive, you know. But
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
McCaffrey's one of those guys that he's enjoyable to watch play the game, right?
He's super talented. He actually grew up here in Colorado, you know, being McCaffrey's kid, Ed McCaffrey's kid and stuff. So, you know, there's a huge local tie, you know, with Denver and the 49ers because of that, not only because Shanahan, but McCaffrey as well. But be able to watch him like from Stanford, you know, they would show highlights of him on the evening news or whatever sometimes. Like you'd see it back in the day when he was like
Yeah,
playing
local
for
celebrity killing it, right?
kind of, yeah, yeah, yeah. So there's definitely a pull for him to do good. I kind of figured that if they pulled it out, he would probably have gotten the MVP. I think, you know, I think Brock did good, but I think McCaffrey just needed to pop a couple extra. I don't think that he ended up getting the right play calls. He was breaking to the outside pretty well, but first quarter wise, like, yeah, I think they were just kind of showing their hand, really. You know,
Yep.
the Chiefs.
Oh, sorry. I was scratching my. I was just gonna say that. Yeah,
Oh, you're
there
good.
was a multiple moments. There was multiple moments there where um, he just has that crazy breakaway speed, right? And he had some really solid runs. We saw the Chiefs kind of respond, you know, at a pretty solid level as well. You know, second and third quarter was basically, you know, the Chiefs starting to really do their thing. Oh, and
Yep.
coming back a little bit there. Ultimately, obviously, we saw it get into overtime. What were your thoughts when they tied it? 3 seconds to go. Like, what was that like?
It was crazy. You know, the missed field goal, the missed extra point is kind of like that was a pretty big game changer. You know what I mean? That would have changed everything. And at that point, had that not happened, they would have been going for six. So it would have, you know, overtime would have never been on the table, really. You know what I mean? So because then they
Yeah,
would have been up by four instead of three. You know what I mean? But at that point, you kind of knew, like at least try to keep them out of the end zone. You know what I mean? At least go to overtime, and then the Chiefs just drove all over them, which was crazy. They were dominating the San Francisco was dominating the line, O line and D line for most of the game until it mattered really. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So and then the Chiefs drove down, you know, 3 seconds left. You know that they're going to, you know, and you know it's going to overtime for
I
sure.
definitely felt like Shanahan passed the ball too much with Purdy, and they could have done a variety of other running plays or even just short passes and short swing stuff. They tried to do these bombs or tried to get the ball in places, and it just didn't work. Obviously, we saw Debo do his thing a little bit, like a couple times over the middle and get a couple good 12, 15 yard, you know, gains or 8 yard gain here and there, but it just really wasn't enough for them to break anything, right? They didn't have any of those
Well,
crazy plays.
And Kittle was getting shut down too. They were shutting down Kittle pretty well,
Yeah,
and like Debo
Kittle,
got
where did
hurt.
he was gone for the entire game.
Yeah. No,
It wasn't
I
that he
don't know
didn't
how many
show.
passes.
It wasn't that he didn't show. I just
Yeah.
don't think the scheme didn't really include him. It seemed.
I feel like the offensive play calling throughout when in the critical points was like fully there. I don't think that they had I don't think the 49ers had their offensive play calling in the correct mindset at that point. Or either that or there was a scheme that Kansas City was drawn up that, as far as defense to shut them down that I didn't see, I'm only so good at it, but
So, I mean, at this point in the game, look, this is the early third quarter. It's still San Francisco 10, Kansas City 6. It's literally a few moments later, right? Is when it is when the fucking wrong one.
yeah, that fumble right there or that turnover on special teams
Right,
that
that was
that punt
crazy,
was
and
a
that
that was a game
100%
changer.
changed the whole game right there. Next play,
100% did. Yep.
touchdown, boom. And that
Yeah.
momentum for them again showed that was like the football gods, right?
Yep.
Basically saying, look, something's gonna go in the favor, right? And I'll there's so much conversation leading up to the Super Bowl. And if you listen to a ton of athletes and former players in the NFL and these hosts, they all said something similar. 49ers is the better team on paper, better team
100.
overall.
Yep.
The Brock Purdy's unproven, but he's a game management. He did that again. He managed the game. He got it all the way to the end. But then my preview for the Super Bowl that I published yesterday said that I thought Brock Purdy was going to choke. I thought there was going to be a mistake. That's just what I
Yeah.
picked. That was the fuck up that I picked. What happened in real life? No Brock Purdy fuck up. That fucking punt right
Yep.
there
That's
hits the
special
fucking
teams.
calf of a player, bounces around. Chiefs get it. Chiefs score, and then
Yep.
they missed that fucking kick right in the game.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
two fuck ups by special teams right there cost them the Super Bowl.
It's crazy how the kicking game always affects it, dude. But I mean, those were two totally critical ones. I think the fact that what's his name, Greenlaw or whatever, the line, the lineman linebacker for the 49ers.
Three horrible things.
Yeah. Couple of different injuries that really, really crushed the 49ers that, they were key spots, dude. And I think what's his name, Greenlaw was definitely one of them. I really wish that Nick would have showed up, you know what I mean, a little more. Bosa,
Bosa was chasing around a little bit. I mean, undeniably, here's the reality, right? In my opinion, the 49ers D-line definitely outperformed the overall, right? I think they outperformed the Chiefs. But Chris Jones and the other D tackle showed up later in the game.
Yeah.
And that made all the difference. Now, but later in the game was just on the passing plays. Remember, there was only a couple series where the 49ers were really pass, and then they switched back because it wasn't working, right?
Right.
And so it was just like, obviously when the situation called for it, the Chiefs defense stood up. There was that horrible, which was a blatant holding call on the defense, right? That all pro, he 100% the route got him caught in the wrong position.
Yeah.
Right there at the end, the flag,
got 10 yards, threw him back. Yep, threw him
crucial call,
crucial.
right?
Yep.
But ultimately, they held off. They got it to overtime. They, all these 49ers players are making excuses about not knowing the rules and blaming and saying the coaches this. It's just like, you know what? This really was on you guys to learn. And obviously, the coaches could have and should have brought it up. But the coaches are the coaches. They know what they're doing. They're playing to win.
It's a rule change that's new anyway. So who knows really what is right and what is wrong on the whole thing? You're still trying to figure that out. You know what I mean? So, it's not that bad of a call, It's not with the turnout, the way that it ended up, it was a bad call. But
yeah, dude, they scored a few. They took up over half of the quarter in the overtime.
They should have scored. Dude, they got held up. Dude, that's the other thing. That play call of McCaffrey just kind of going at the line, like he'd been kind of breaking it to the side at that point. He was using his speed and getting around people. I don't think that they called the right sweep. You know what I mean?
I
Right there
I
when
would
it
agree as well. I
mattered.
think that was definitely a missed call on that opportunity, especially considering all the data was showing success on the outside runs with him.
Yeah.
It was
Or even throw it to Ayuk, dude. Like ASU, man, that's ASU alum like me, dog. Like Ayuk will get that shit. Debo would stumble his ass in there, give him a
Yeah,
passing play.
it
That's
was. There
I
were
don't
some
know,
interesting
man.
calls on both plays. I mean, and going back to the 49ers D line too, how many times did they collapse the pocket and force Patrick Mahomes to step up in it and try to scramble? And it was like 5 times all game. He got
Yeah,
running success by doing the play action boot, right?
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. That
and that was really fun to watch him go run and do that. He's definitely quick and agile, um, enough to get by in the NFL, and that ultimately too that 4th and 1, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Did he hit
Crazy.
a 20 yard?
Yep.
He went for like 19-20 on it.
Yeah.
Like they would have never called that in the yeah.
Those play calls won the game.
Yeah.
Got him. Literally, it all culminated to them just being in the position, being around, catching up,
Yeah.
keeping up, and keeping pace. And the next thing you know, they're there. The defense holds the 49ers in the overtime to the 3 points. They kick off. No kickoff was returned all game. Boring, but
Right.
it was cool to see one of those kickers. I think it was Moody tag the field goal post.
He
That
did. He
was
did on the
super
kickoff,
cool.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I think I heard 3 touch, which was pretty cool. Um,
Uh,
and then yeah, man, really exciting to see that punt happen and that fuck up, and then to have that cost it. I mean, that's just two special teams, huge issues there. So big shout out and congratulations from a Raiders fan and a Broncos fan. Big shout out to the motherfucking Chiefs for
yeah.
pulling out our division rivals, a team that neither one of us likes, one of us really gives a fuck about. But
Not
big
it.
shout
Not even
out
that much. Yeah.
Big shout out to Pat Mahomes, Travis Kelsey, Chris Jones, that dope ass corner safety dude that held the guy last night. He was fire all game. And shout out to the
Yeah.
49ers as well.
Shout out to all of my Chiefs fans, my homies that are Chiefs fans, dude. I know you guys went through your shit when we were kids. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So it's nice to see you guys on a higher horse these days.
Trent Green
You
was
know what I mean?
throwing for 4,000 yards like clockwork, and they couldn't win shit.
Dude, Okoye, dude, how can you know what I mean? Christian
Tony
Okoye was a monster.
Gonzalez.
That dude, yeah, Tony Gonzalez, dude. Like, I don't know. There was a lot of them, dude. They were always good ones, man. So
But big
shout
shout
out to
out to this
those.
current team, man. It was an exciting game
Yeah.
to watch. It was a little boring at first, but it definitely turned out to be a lot of pressure and big plays when it mattered most. So big congratulations to both teams and obviously to the Chief. Raiders are coming for your ass next year, so be fucking ready. Max Crosby ain't letting none of that shit happen. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? All right, Chad. You got anything else for the people before we get on out of here?
I don't, man. Appreciate all that you're doing, man. Keep fighting the green fight for us, man. Representing us, man. You know what I mean?
Of course. No, I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you
If you
guys for
guys need some
sure.
marketing that works a little bit more than a t-shirt or a hat, dude, come get some charms, dude. They're cannabis touching.
Lighter
You're gonna
charms, vape
Yep.
charms, cannabis touching. Get your shit branded. Get your shit with some content. Get a link tree on that shit. Get some loyalty programs going. It's a great tool, great device to build community, spread awareness, and then ultimately convert online as well. On the RMR side of things, we've got New York and Arizona still coming. I'll be at Meta at the end of the month. I'm hosting a panel on February 22nd for Benzinga Cannabis Marketplace in Los Angeles. I've got 4 special guests on this panel. Read more about it at respectmyregion.com. Big shout out to Benzinga Cannabis, Javier Elliott, for including me and RMR on that. I'm very excited. It's my second panel ever. I am nervous and thinking about it, but I'll just do it a couple days before and we'll be cool. So big excitement for that there. What else? What else? What else? Oh, we're launching pre rolls and half ounces in Washington State for our flower products. So stay tuned, Washington State, for some infused pre rolls and some half ounce SKUs as well. AZ, we've got what else we got, Chad? We got eighths, we've got quarters. We're coming out with pre rolls there, and in New York, we've got eighths, eighths, quarters, halves, and pre-rolls as well there too. So we're excited for all that coming. Everybody, I appreciate you guys. This was the 90th episode of the Morning Joint podcast on the RMR
Nice.
Podcast Network. Chad, I very much appreciate you being here. Everybody,
Appreciate
make
you,
sure
my
you
friend.
guys visit back again next Monday. I'll be doing another episode, and then we will be taking over Mita and co-hosting their podcast at the end of the month on the 28th. So stay tuned. Chad,
Nice. I'm gonna have to roll after that.
it's going to be a fun one. Everybody, thank you guys so much. We'll see you on the next episode. I am going to take a dab. We out. Morning Joint 90, RMR.